Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it is Throwback Thursday, and no, Luminous has not done a body swap. He is sick, so instead I am filling in. I am, of course, am LD. I'll be your host for tonight, and joining me is one of dotacommentaries.com brand new commentators. He is screenguardguy, and I believe for the first time ever, he is showing his beautiful face to the world. Screenguardguy, how you doing, buddy?
Hi everyone. I know that I'm a bit of a poor substitute for the great Luminous, but just saying to an incredibly racist eye, we are pretty much the same person. So
Yeah, you're
yeah,
both
hope to
you're both Asian. It's all good.
yeah,
Dark
it's the same
hair,
thing.
Asian, same person. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna dive right into this one. I believe it is a slightly longer game. For anyone who doesn't know, the way that Throwback Thursday normally works is that Lumi will offer you a choice of 3 replays before the stream starts. You guys will vote for one, and then he'll play that one. Today, I've turned into a bit of a dictator. I've just made an executive decision. We're gonna go with DTS versus Ehome. And I don't think there are too many people will be disappointed about this. This is an absolutely classic game from the good old Dota 1 days. So without any further ado, I'm going to hop inside the client and let's get this show on the road in
Yep,
a few
it's a little bit
seconds.
before my time. I think it's from the 2010 WDC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's from the World Dota Championships, which is a tournament that was happening in China towards the end of the year, and this one was from 2010. So
Okay,
it looks, yeah, I'm going to open up the
let's try to set
replay.
the scene. Okay, DTS. This was an old Ukrainian team. They featured like artstyle, dendi. At the time, it was a very, very strong combination. But this was also the era of Ehome's sort of golden age. Everybody was in there. Kingj, Burning, 820. They were just absolutely dominating the scene overall. So I think they actually went head to head in the ESWC like even a few months ago. DTS exactly against Ehome, and I believe DTS came out slightly behind on that one. But yeah, so this is the rematch, the exciting replay, I think, from 2010.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil the result, although at this point, anyone who hasn't seen the replay, you're probably going to get spoiled soon enough anyway. But let's just say that it's one of the few times that a team, in fact, it may be the only time that a team has ever gone onto Chinese soil and won as important a match as this. Now, Navi did go to the World Dota Championships again in 2011. I believe there's actually a scandal with that tournament, and the prize money was never paid out. So there is no World Dota Championships this year. But Navi won a couple of matches, but they weren't able to go all the way in that event. But you're right. This match had a lot of history behind it. It was one of the biggest, I think, East versus West showdowns. Although really Navi's sort of in the East as far as Europe goes. You can call them West because they're not from China. They're not from Asia per se. Let's not get into geographical debate. So definitely an epic match, not only in terms of how the teams played, but like you were saying, how what the match sort of the connotations it had for the scene. And I gotta say, it was a pretty earth-shattering result. So, with the stage being set, I think it is high time we dive into this game. I'm sure the viewers are quaking in their boots with anticipation. I am on the replay timer, elapsed time paused at 20 seconds. So if you want to go there, we can
Yep.
unpause and get the show on the road.
Okay. Whoops. Okay, and we're sitting exactly at 20 seconds. So whenever you want to unpause.
All right, let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm at 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Yep, I'm perfect with you right now.
All
We are in
right.
sync.
So
And it's gonna
guys,
be
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm just gonna say Visage gonna be banned as well as Doombringer. Both heroes at this time incredibly popular. Doombringer more so than I think any other hero of the time. He was really considered very, very broken until like nerf after nerf after nerf came in for him. I can't really remember how he was played at the time, but he was just a fantastic farmer, and he would just completely dominate the scene at that time.
I want to say, I'm a little ashamed to admit this, but I don't remember when Smoke of Deceit was introduced. Was it in the game during this patch? I want to say it wasn't. Uh,
6.68 C, I don't
no,
believe it
this
was,
is
but
this is 6.69 C.
oh, 6.9 C.
But I
I
don't.
have no clue.
I'm gonna
That's
sort of keep an eye on the chat here and wait for people to start flaming me and give me the correct answer. But I want to say it had either just been introduced or was not introduced yet. Either way, it was not used back then to the extent that it is nowadays, where there's constant ganking and aggression from the very early stages. Now there are other balance changes and other changes Dota that have affected the metagame, but Smoke and Deceit is probably by far the #1 biggest change that has been made to the game. And if you don't have Smoke of Deceit or you're just not being as aggressive with it, then a hero like Doombringer has more of a place in the game because he wants to farm, he wants to get some levels up. He does suffer in the laning stage. His base armor is bad. He's not really the same hero until he gets his ultimate up. Ideally, he'd like to max all his skills, but if you're not being ganked, if the opponent's not being aggressive, he definitely is deserving of that first ban status. So, in any case, I believe his armor has been just nerfed into the ground since this patch anyway. And he's just so squishy nowadays, in spite of having really good strength gain. But anyway, what are we seeing in terms of picks? A lot of very strong laning heroes for DTS. The Vengeful Spirit, Enchantress, and the Shadow Priest getting picked up, while over on the Ehome side, Windrunner and Shadow Fiend. So it looks like they may be going for those 2 or even 3 very strong semi-carries, really dominant laning heroes. But picking a Shadow Fiend against Enchantress, this can be dangerous.
Yeah, very, very much so. But I mean, going Enchantress, you can have that jungle. You free up some solo lanes. If you get your Shadow Priest to a significantly high enough level, he can really keep absolutely everybody alive. Just so many heals can come in. Shallow Grave. He is an absolute menace to deal with, especially if you're going to go against like a heavy carry lineup, which I have a feeling that the Chinese Ehome, specifically Ehome, at this time would love to play. I mean, they would love to put Burning on like. I don't know who was the #1 carry at the time. Maybe it was like a lycanthrope or whatever. But whoever it was, they'd love to put him on it and just let him get free farm for like throughout. So by having a Shadow Priest there, you can really help to kite and really help to sort of keep your team alive and just keep dealing the damage.
This was a bit before Burning's heyday. Burning's really 2011 was the year of Burning. That's when DK was the most dominant team. This was probably towards the end of the age of ZSMJ. If you want to call it that, but neither of those players will be appearing in this one. But for Ehome, Earthshaker picked up, so they have a very strong defensive lineup right now. The Windrunner, the Earthshaker, great team fight as well with the Shadow Fiend. Whereas for DTS, again, I think this is one of the first big games, at least on an international stage, where we really saw the seeds of the style that Navi uses nowadays. So, of course, artstyle is no longer with the modern Navi, but he was with Navi at the international one. He was with them for a decent chunk of time, and 3 of the players that were on that International 1 lineup will be appearing in this game. In the International 1, Navi had a very specific style. They would just play very aggressively early on, dominate the lanes, push down towers systematically, control the map, and then slowly but surely, oftentimes not too slowly, but very, just control the map and squeeze their opponents out farm them, and then get maybe a Roshan or 2, and then go win the game. Oftentimes, Navi trying to win by the 25-30 minute mark. So this game is going to be one of the first times, I think, in Dota 1 where that style was used, especially against an opponent as fearsome as Ehome. So we'll see how that works, but the draft is now complete, and they rounded out with 2 great frontline tankers, the Panda and Lone Druid for DTS. What are your thoughts on this DTS lineup, and what do you think we're going to see for Ehome around this 5th pickup?
Well, it's actually DTS have a very pushing orientated lineup. You don't think about it, but the Enchantress can really knock down towers very early on. Syllabear gets a little bit late when the bear hits level 4. He gets that demolish ability. Commandor is actually really, really strong for doing if you want to do like a quick push. And the Panda just jumps in, he just wreaks havoc, and he's gonna get some solo kills. I want to say if he can hit his ultimate, like if he can just be unmolested and get to his level 6 sort of relatively quickly, he should be just fine if he goes mid lane. On the meantime, Ehome, they're probably going to want to pick up somebody with like team fight ability. I mean, you've got an Earthshaker there. You just need somebody to follow it up with some damage. Like if this was a Pinoy game, I'd just say Queen of Pain because that's sort of like my specialty. I do a lot of Southeast Asian Dota.
Oh yeah.
For Chinese Dota, it could be Sand King. You could look at so many things. Just anybody with that big AOE ability. Somebody maybe with a reliable stun would be nice.
I'm trying to think about how they're going to lane it. For DTS, it looks pretty clear that they're going to run... I'm thinking it's going to be some sort of a tri-lane with the Enchantress. Probably an offensive tri-lane because knowing art style, I mean, we've certainly seen it in Dota 2, but even back in Dota 1, he did like to run the offensive, aggressive tri-lanes, especially when you pick Enchantress up. Normally, that's why you would go for her. And so if they're going to do that, then it'll certainly be a solo Lone Druid, and then I guess either a Dazzle or a Panda is the other solo here. Either of those could be thrown mid. Dazzle is quite level dependent. I think we talked a little bit about this. I think you started to talk about it anyway. He's very level dependent. He needs some farm, but if he gets those levels in the farm up, then he can be a real force in the mid game. And it will be the 3 semi carries: the Shadow Fiend, the Windrunner, and the Razor. A lineup that has a lot of damage potential, but they got to get there. And I'm not sure how strong they will be in the laning phase against this DTS onslaught. But let's introduce our players, then we can talk a bit about the lane matchups. 357, the revered Earthshaker player, old school support player. He'll be handling the Earthshaker. AAA going to be playing the Shadow Fiend. 820, possibly the best captain in Chinese Dota history, up there with the likes of 2009. He'll be playing the Crystal Maiden. Jay will be playing the Razor, and it looks like Die X, he's not playing support, man. He's playing that Windrunner. He'll be heading to the top lane.
Yep, AAA, of course, is burning. I don't think 820 was the captain at this time. Artstyle will be playing the Enchantress. It will be Dendi on the Shadow Priest. Wow, I really expect him to play something a bit more aggressive. Dread will be playing the Pandaren Brewmaster. NS will be playing the Vengeful Spirit. And one more, where are you? Hang on. This is old school stuff. It will be... Darn it, I have no idea where my final person is. Light will be playing the Syllabare.
There you go. There you go. I found him. I wasn't sure if you'd already mentioned him yet, though. Yeah, you know, Warcraft 3 Dota, spectating it always gets a little... It takes a little bit to come back to it, because, you know, you're playing... At least for me, I'm playing all my pub games in Dota 2 nowadays. Matchmaking is just too good. But, yeah, here we go for lane. So it's going to be safe lane Lone Druid. And it looks like Ehome may be running... a tri-lane, an offensive tri-lane with the Razor CM Earthshaker. This is a pretty fearsome tri-lane. If they ever get a fissure block on this Lone Druid, he should be dead. At the same time, Razor, a hero that generally needs a lot of levels, you want to get his nukes maxed out as quickly as possible. And even his passive, you'd like to get at least 1 point in that, a couple of points into the static link, and the ult up. So he's pretty level dependent for a tri-lane. We'll see if they stick with this. In the middle lane, Shadow Fiend up against Dazzle. And towards top, it looks like it will be a tri-lane once Artstyle gets here and die with the Invisor and just trying to soak up some experience. This top lane is going to be very tough for Ehome, but on the flip side, so is the tri-lane bottom for Light of Heaven.
Oh, well, Light of Heaven, Light of Heaven, of course, has a little bit of advantage. I would say that he's going to go on. He's going to be taking so much right-click damage. Is he actually going to be alright? He will be. By the skin of his teeth, some quick reflexes there, going to salve up and be just fine. This bear is taking a tremendous amount of damage. I feel that he does have a slight advantage because he does have that bear, and it's kind of like having, you know, like a little brother to look out for you. He can pull with that bear if he needs to. He can send it forward to harass to get some last hits. Should be slightly easier than this Windrunner, who is just taking a tremendous amount of harass up top. Actually going to look out to be just fine.
She's gonna be okay until the Enchantress shows up, because Vengeful Spirit really not the best harasser, but here comes the dive. This might be our first blood. Magic Missile and the Centaur here. Long range Magic Missile, followed by the Centaur stop, the clap on top of it, and there's your first blood. Artstyle claims it. Quick first blood. And really, you knew somebody was gonna die soon in one of these lanes. Between the Crystal Maiden Earthshaker on the bottom lane and then this tri-lane up top. But they have Enchantress, and they got probably the best level 1 pushing creep in the game. At least as far as killing towers go. And look how fast it melts with the Centaur Aura and the Dark Troll Warlord. So they're going to get a tier 1 at 1 minute and 50 seconds into this game. Oh. I'm having flashbacks to the International 1, but this is really where it all began, man.
Oh yeah, certainly that insane level advantage just from the first blood, the amount of gold you're getting in terms of that tower. It's going to be very, very difficult for Ehome to sort of pull it back. They need to, I think, get like a, I don't know, they have a Shadow Fiend in the mid, which I think is slightly superior than the Dazzle, and certainly they're going to be looking to get a kill. As I say that, another Fisher's going to be going on the Syllabare, but they can't seem to quite crack his incredibly high HP.
Yeah, really good positioning by him, just hiding behind the tower, and like you mentioned, the bear is pretty much a huge nuisance here, because even if they want to go in, he can block with the bear, but top lane, again, the stomp by the Centaur, Magic Missile to follow, Windrun was just popped, and I think she'll just get out of there, barely. But now the pressure onto the second tier tower this early. Earthshaker rotates mid, but really killing Dazzle probably not going to happen unless you have a perfectly timed triple raise. So right now it's looking pretty good for DTS.
Yep. Just going to be checking out the items really quick. Very, very surprised at the way the Shadow Fiend's being played. Shadow Fiend we don't see very much nowadays, but he is a very, very offensive hero. He's strong late game, strong early game, strong mid game. He's going to be going for a per-man shield, which I kind of like a little bit. This is sort of a very, very old school build. As I said, big trades are going to be made. Fisher's going to be going on long range. I think Dazzle, is he going to go down? No, just going to survive by the skin of his teeth. Fisher are slightly too short, slightly.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just wasn't close enough to start off with the Z-raise there. He had to use the C-raise before really the final chase began, so he didn't have that long range raise to finish the kill off there. A little bit unfortunate. You might be wondering in this middle lane, why are they not actually ganking the Shadow Fiend? Well, now Earthshaker's here. Wow, look how low he dropped. I think he tanked a heal there while staying next to the creep wave. But look at this great defensive ward placed to help counter out the jungling of Artstyle. If artstyle wanted to come mid, it would be a lot more difficult for him to do so. No smokes of deceit picked up yet. Again, I believe it was not introduced yet, and the longer I see artstyle go without having it, the more convinced I am that that was indeed the case for this patch. But with this ward up, and with no smoke of deceit, you really can't gank him too easily. But they're doing the next best thing. They're pressuring that top lane.
Yep, I'm just checking out the levels real quick. Nobody's yet level 6. That would be really, really imbalanced. But we are seeing level 5 to level 4. The Shadow Fiend is actually getting outlaned by a Dazzle, which is not at all what you want to see. Particularly not this early on. Shadow Fiend is fairly squishy. He does want levels, and he does want to have a good start to the game in order to be very, very effective later on. Not sure if it's going to be like a Blink Shadow Fiend or a Lothar's Edge one. As I say, I'm not too familiar with this level, but Shadow Fiend is, there's a lot of pressure on him. Since he did have the mid lane, there's a lot of pressure on him to get some good farm, to get some good levels, and to be sort of a nuisance overall.
I'm not so sure he's losing this lane. He's about 6 CS ahead of Dendi so far. He's farming quite effectively. The tier 2 did go down top, so that's 2 very quick towers, and it looks like the pressure might not stop. He isn't farming now, though, especially with the Enchantress rotating in. So while Shadow Fiend is not farming, this is going to create space for Dai on the top lane to start catching up on that Windrunner. He's already up to level 4, and once he gets to level 5, ideally level 7, pushing gets a lot more difficult, because that's where your power shot's going to be leveled up. And this team does have amazing anti-push as far as the nukes go. Shadow Fiend with all of the raises, and look at that. One raise almost instantly killing off all the creeps. Big dive by artstyle. Is he really going to go for this one raise to start? Fissure to follow. The wisps are out. Is artstyle living through this? Really? Are you kidding me? He's turning it around. He's still surviving. He kills off the Earthshaker. In comes a DD rune on Dendi, and this might be the death of Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend trying to escape. No! Not going to be able to do so. Artstyle, the magician, somehow survives through it all. And the Crystal Maiden gets blocked off, ushered away by Dendi. And this might be, if not a tier 1 falling, then a lot of damage onto the tower.
Oh, well, the creep wave is coming in. That is definitely a distinct possibility.
A timely DD rune, and I gotta say for Artstyle, he waited until the last second to get that heal off. If he had waited even a half second more, he would have been fissured before he popped it. He would have died, but great patience there, maximizing heal. So he survives, and so far, every time he's gone for a gank, he's gotten a kill. He's knocked down 2 towers already. I don't think you can ask for more from your Enchantress at this stage in the game.
Nope, true. Just gonna be wondering what exactly... Hang on, what's going on down here? Razor is gonna be going for... He's got the Ring of Basilius. I'm just wondering, levels... almost hitting level 6. I'm wondering if he's gonna be going for a more offensive build, or if he's gonna be...
top lane.
Oops.
Dies
a big chase going on for the Windrunner. She's gonna be taking poison. Oh, she's gonna get stunned. She's gonna go down straight away. At least managed to get off a power shot before she fell, though.
Yeah, while that was happening, it looks like there was the first kill of the game for Ehome in the middle lane. That was the Vengeful Spirit going down, so they do get the counter kill, but score is still 4-1. The Windrunner dies, but at least Dai's had a little bit of opportunity to get levels. That is the downside to pushing a lane that aggressively this early on, is that it makes it pretty easy for a hero to farm safely. Honestly, I was surprised at how much Dai pushed the lane out. Generally, you want to try and static farm the lane, just to make it harder to gank. They have put a pretty aggressive ward up here that NS placed, just trying to control the enemy jungle. And it looks like DTS is just content at this point to try and outfarm their opponents. Oh, Lone Druid, gonna take a fall there. Yeah, feel free to just yell over me if we're missing a kill.
Oh.
But yeah, looks like Lone Druid finally goes down, but he wasn't in ultimate form. He's not level 6 yet. It looks like he's been denied a little bit in the experience department. Dendi hitting 7, so he's a bit behind, but once he hits 6, those ganks are gonna get a lot harder.
Yep, so far the only heroes hit 6, Artstyle, Dendi, as well as Shadow Fiend. Are these the heroes? I don't know. They're not really the super powerful ultimate forms quite yet. I mean, you really want the Panda to hit 6 as soon as possible. You definitely, I mean, Shadow Fiend hitting 6 is pretty good, but you want Earthshaker up at 6 as well. And you want him to get his Blink Dagger, you want him to get his boots. Fissure, a big engage going on the mid. Now just a little bit of harass, but that tower is looking very low. It's going to hit in deny range very soon. But here comes Dazzle. He's looking for a poison touch. Is he going to get one? He's running into the woods. Is he going to find anybody? He's finding the Shadow Fiend. Is there going to be an ultimate? No razor is going to be going off. There's the stuns going. Oh, Shadow Fiend will fall in half a second. Earthshaker gonna just get out all right. Crystal Maiden is looking so low right now. She's gonna be taking all that damage. She's running into the Roche pit, trying to suicide. Oh, but she's just gonna die first. Fissure not able to save her life.
No suicide for you, says Artstyle. And now Panda 6, so not only do they get a couple of kills, but if they drop the Panda ultimate at the right moment, they could get a few more. Knock down to tier 2, and then really, where is Ehome going to farm safely? They've already lost 2 towers in the top lane. There's been aggressive hill wards up for the first 5 or so minutes of this game, and just wards generally all over the jungle. Ehome's supports are already desperately poor. They ran an offensive tri-lane. It's a level 3 Earthshaker. Razor's getting some decent farm, but these supports, they're already poor. Now they have to buy even more wards because they don't have their towers up, and they're up against supports that have extra tower gold who are quite happy to buy wards of their own. So in a ward war, it doesn't seem like Ehome's going to stand a chance. Middle lane, that Panda ult gets dropped. Oh, this could be the death of that Nevermore. Indeed, he will go down. A nice pick up there. Panda ult just for Nevermore, for a single hero, rather. Normally not worth it, but against a hero like Shadow Fiend, you definitely want to keep him down. Every time he dies, he's going to lose those souls, and now the push, it will recommence on the middle lane. Just constant pressure from Na'Vi in this game. Na'Vi, DTS, I mean, excuse me.
In the meantime, it seems that Razor as well as Silver have been having sort of like an RPG farming here, but Crystal Maiden's going to be coming down. She definitely wants to make a go. Don't feel they have enough damage to bring down the Syllabear, especially now that he's level 6 and he does have the true form. But meanwhile, up top, it looks like Earthshaker is going to be taking all those stuns right to the face. He's going to get, yes, he will be going down right clicks a little bit too much. Windrunner is being very, very ballsy at the moment, but she is just going to get out okay, despite taking a lot of impetus damage. Looks like mid tower is going to fall.
Look at the farm on Artstyle. He is ridiculously tanky. 1100 HP up. He's already got his point booster, his tower treads, his Breed of Abyssalies, and his Ogre Club. I guess it's going to be an Aghanim's Rush. Bottom lane, Lone Druid gets picked off. Big tower dive. They are keeping the Lone Druid down, but he's not the most farm-dependent carry, and they're losing so many towers. They're constantly under siege this game. They are finally going to strike first blood in the form of a tower, so that's something. All right, if you're in DTS's shoes right now, or not DTS's shoes. Oh, Vengeful Spirit! Really? Are you kidding me? Escapes with about 15 HP. I think Burning thought he had that one, and he chose to back off there at the last second.
Actually, I don't think DTS are too upset by losing that bottom tower. I mean, you know, if you lose some space, there's a positive side and a negative side. It means that, you know, it's a little bit easier farming, to be farming closer to tower, farming closer to your base. True, you do lose a little bit of map control, but it's not really the end of the world, and it could actually be a benefit if you still need some items. That said, it looks like Syllabear is going to be going for a mech. Honestly, I thought he was going to be going for a Vlad's, in which case he would have been much more pushing oriented. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to be wanting to participate in some team fights later on, which is what I want to say. Just judging if you're going to pick up a mech instead of the usual supports hero.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what they're going for. He doesn't have to be the damage dealer. He can kind of just be a frontline tank. They have the Enchantress already, who's getting really fat. They have the healing. You know, this DTS lineup, it's kind of just built to never go back to base because they have the Shadow Priest, who got a lot of levels, decent amount of farm, and some tower gold early on. They
looks like DTS.
Yeah, this could be a big wraparound gank.
There goes the Wisp of the healing wards. Oh man, is there going to be a stun? Long-range Fisher, where's the stun? Vengeful Spirit taking a lot of damage right now. She's only just going to survive next to Shallow Grave. And it looks like Dazzle will be the next focus, but Crystal Maiden, she's going to bite him. Is she going to actually get a kill? One more right click. He's actually, yes, no, unfortunately, Razor did go down to that. Artstyle doing a fantastic job. Dazzle just going to manage to run, I want to say, but he's going to get hit by Nova. He's going to get hit by a creep. In fact, he's going to take Crystal Maiden and Dazzle are doing something big. In the meantime, looks like Earthshaker will be taking a lot of damage from Artstyle. Is he actually going to fall? No, he's going to salve up and teleport out and be just fine. Dazzle as well. So very, very clutch game right there.
Nobody dies, but here's a hero that probably will die. It's the Shadow Fiend right now. In a lot of trouble. Immolation damage on him. The Boulder Toss to follow. And there's just no escape, or maybe there is. Cyclone up in the air. Where's the Dispel? Waiting for that Boulder Toss cooldown, and he's going to go down. He's so close to that region, and yet, oh, so far. So right now, for Ehome, the Panda ult is getting a Shadow Fiend kill pretty much every time it's dropped. They're still holding on to 3 of their towers. They lost 3 very early. They've sort of stabilized since then, and I gotta say, this lineup, if they can get to the late game, they have the Razor with a Vanguard up. They have the Shadow Fiend, who is horribly crippled and very far behind, but in theory can be a very potent late game carry. And you have a Windrunner who's starting to get something accomplished now. Starting to get a decent amount of farm. Is there anything coming for her? On the Courier, not yet, but the Phase Boots, just the basics up for her. I think Ehome can try and turtle this one, but it's going to be tough against Na'Vi. They're definitely down a lot of gold right now. And here's an item that makes turtling extremely difficult. It's the Blink Dagger on Dread. The Panda now can jump in from long range and set things up for his team.
Yeah, definitely some great initiation potential, particularly if you can follow it up. I mean, they have Vengeful Spirit swap as well, and big go make in the bottom lane. Looks like Razor is taking an intense amount of damage. He's going to get stunned by that poison. There's no follow-up, though, and he will actually be just fine. He's actually turning around. He wants to make a chase. No. A little bit indecisive. He's going to go back to the lane. He's going to get some farm. He's picked up a Vanguard, which is absolutely great. Meanwhile, top lane, a big push coming in. Oh man, I wonder if Syllabear can he actually stop this? He's actually out of attack range, that bear, and he's just sort of wandering up. Syllabear in his true form, tower taking a lot of damage. At the very least, they want to deny it. Big teleport's going to be coming in. Oh, they want to get a kill. Long range fish are going to block everything off-ish, sort of, not really. Looks like the go on the Earthshaker. Is he actually going to catch up very fast, that bear? No boots on him, though.
Very slow, because like you said, there's no boots.
Somehow faster than the Earthshaker. That's a little bit sad. Long range fisher yet again, plus the most beautiful shock shot in history. Oh, unfortunately not enough. It looks like the Panda will be going down, a stun to the face. And now Windrunner is the next target, but she's a little bit faster than a bootsless bear. Blink in. Is there going to be an ultimate? Is there going to be an ultimate? He's taking nice heal coming in. Oh my goodness. Actually, Windrunner's taking a fantastic amount of damage, but she's going to Windrun, and I'm going to say now she's going to be all right.
No, she's going to get... No!
The infinite damage. One more hit. She's going to go down. Oh, what the heck? DTS.
Well, you know, the nice thing about the lineup Ehome's running it, and you know, really this is still this harkens back even to their 2010 playstyle. Yes, you can kill off one carry, you can even kill off your supports, but our Shadow Fiend's gonna pressure mid, our Razor's gonna pressure bottom, and we're gonna get something in return. Now they gave up a lot. By no means was it a great trade, because while they were busy getting the tier 1 mid, their tier 2 or while they were busy having that fight top, rather, the tier 2 mid fell. Artstyle was able to pick that up. So it's now 4 towers down, and it looks like finally they get on the board for tier 2. The Razor, how much gold is he actually sitting on? Can I see that? Yeah, 1,800 gold for him. Vanguard online. I'm not sure if we look at the DTS lineup right now, I honestly feel like getting a BKB would do a lot more for Razor than a Vanguard. Yes, there's Entangle which goes through it, but aside from that, your big concern is going to be the impetus damage, in my opinion. Maybe the Panda's Boulder Toss, the Magic Missile, but to me, it's just that Imp, and BKB would deal with it, but he's opted for Vanguard. It is the cheaper item to build up. We'll have to see what he goes for next, but I'm guessing he's just going to try and tank up. Speaking of tanking up, Burning's doing the same. He's got 2 bracers, man. These items, you do not want to see these items on Shadow Fiend. The only reason he has them is because he is just outrageously poor right now.
But he had about 2,000 gold about 10 seconds ago. He just picked up a boot of travel, the most luxury item in the world. That's the rich man's. That's like the most bourgeois item you can get. It's going to be a pushing Shadow Fiend. He can jump in for team fights if he wants. Don't feel that he will want to. He's going to be going to like the space left behind. If you want to push, he'll be going to the other lane, and he will be pushing it out. And you know, Shadow Fiend, he pushes fast. His spells cost like virtually nothing. It's going to be quite a cool strategy, I guess, and very interesting to see if it pays off.
Yeah, I'm not. This is, you said luxury. This is like a guy who doesn't have a house buying a Ferrari. Seriously, now, Burning. This is, but you know, if you actually think about the way the game's progressing, it does make a lot of sense. They don't want a team fight right now. They're up against an amazing team fight lineup. Has good initiation, has great damage from the Enchanters, who's definitely the scariest single hero on the map right now. There's a mech up on the Lone Druid, the Syllabear, there's a Blink on the Panda. Fighting this lineup right now is pretty much a recipe for disaster. So, I don't mind this choice, but if they have to fight, if they can't push fast enough on the other side of the map, they're going to be in trouble, because this item doesn't do anything for them. So we'll see how it works. But on paper, it could be the solution. Tier 2 mid being traded in exchange for the Tier 2 bottom. Na'Vi is going to get the last outer tower, and now they will be in prime position for Roshan. But they might have to back off, man. Their base is about to be threatened.
Yep, just some key things to note. I think Earthshaker, still no Blink Dagger, not even Mana Boots up by this point. Very, not exactly what you want to see. Other things you want to note is the Planeswalker Cloak on the Syllabear. I think he's going to go for Pipe, just judging by the general trend of if you get mech. Now the next logical conclusion is to get a pipe and give yourself some teamfight potential. They're actually going to be moving up to the high ground, though. Glyph has been popped. There's going to be Initiation Fissure. That's about it. Oh, there comes the Razor. Is there anything else? Panda Split is going to go off. Some stuns, but he's unfortunately not going to hit. Crystal Maiden is going to be taking a lot of damage. Vengeance Spirit is going to pick her off. Big Echo Slam is going to be going for everybody right now. Oh, and Impetus damage going off. One more hit. Actually going to get the Earthshaker. Panda needs to focus somebody else. Focus the Razor. Focus the Razor is going to go up into the air, but there's no follow-up damage. The Panda Split duration is out. Shadow Fiend is still alive. Clap going on. Big Fissure. Most chaotic teamfight ever.
Ah!
Ultimate, is it gonna go by the swap? There it is, ultimate right now. Gonna get a kill on artstyle. Oh, Shadow Fiend is running for his life, but no boots on that bear. He's gonna be just fine. Now the bear is taking a lot of damage. The real bear, he's gonna go down to a range, but the Clat gonna pick off Shadow Fiend. Long range fissure. Where's the follow-up damage? Yuma right clicks. Razor really wants this. He really wants this. He's gonna get it. Oh man, that was a team wipe coming in from Ehome. Score currently 16-8. Oh.
I was watching, my camera was on burning that entire fight. He had a haste run up, but he didn't actually start attacking anyone until like halfway through the fight. Somehow comes out with a triple kill in the end. Wasting, you know, I gotta say the haste run there just won them the fight because Panda jumped in with the ult, wanted to focus down the Shadow Fiend immediately, but having the haste run up, it's dispel magic. I'm not sure if that actually removes haste run, but in any case was not able to get it off. Wasn't able to cyclone or boulder toss him in time. Shadow Fiend just got into the fog of war, got out of range, and it would have been a little bit too dangerous to dive him. And from there, Burning stalled the fight out, turned it around, and this is the beauty of running multiple carries. If you can get some farm up on them, if you can make the fights last longer, then as long as one of them survives, as long as one of them isn't being focused, they're going to be able to do the big damage. And we saw it there.
Yep, definitely so. And I think they may have just like really brought themselves back into the game. Like, if we're looking at the levels now, it's 10-10, 12-10, 8 against 7-13, 8, 12-12. Much more favorable position than it was before. BK, well, the Shadow Fiend's going to go for BKB. He's already picked up the Ogre Axe, a little bit far away. Windrunner, she's completed her mech, but she's finally going to be going for 4 staff. So they're finally going to get their core items up. They're finally going to be back in the game. And as I say that, Roshan is about to be, well, there's an attempt, at least made by the Sentinel.
This is going to be quick.
No, unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't look like the Scourge, no, and I do not believe they have the capacity to stop them. Shadow Fiend is in the moment in the jungles. Razor also up to the top lane. He's got a Yasha. Gonna throw for Manta style, I want to say?
Yeah, you know, it makes sense. You can remove things like the slow from the Enchantress. You can get out of Entangle with it. Although this has to be the least scary bear you will ever see in the history of lone druiding competitive play. Still no boots on the bear, for Christ's sake. It's pretty much just a, you know, something to tank up in these fights. But I think Manta's a decent choice. It's a very cost-efficient item. It helps him tank up a little bit as well. And they do give up an Aegis, but they get a tier 2 top in exchange. And now it's actually, surprisingly enough, you know, the tower scores even at this point. At one point, it was like 3 or 4 tower advantage for DTS, but they've given up a lot to get that Roshan, and just the last couple of trades that they made really have not been as favorable as you would like, and, you know, it goes back to the item selection of Ehome. It's just the nature of their lineup as well. Not only do they have multiple carries, but they have carries that can push quickly, or semi-carries. The Windrunner, the Razor, the Shadow Fiend, they all have amazing creep clearing ability. And if they can get up this next level of items, the BKB on the Shadow Fiend, the Manta on the Razor, ideally your Blink Dagger and Earthshaker, although I gotta say, sadly for 357, he's not really getting any farm. It's kind of the downfall of the tri-carry strategy. Well, not the downfall, but the downside is your supports, there's just not much room for them to farm. And maybe the Windrunner 4-staff. I feel if they can get up those 3 items before the next fight, before the high ground attempt, they're going to be in great shape, ScreenGuardGuy. But so far, we're not seeing them, and here comes Na'Vi grouped up mid. They may just want to end this game now. I don't know if they can, but it looks like they want to.
Well, no Aghanims completed on the Dazzle yet. A big go is going to be, no, just going to win run out. I keep saying a big go and nothing actually happens. I like the item choice of the Aghanims for the Artstyles Enchantress. I mean, actually, if you looked at it, in all these team fights, nobody's really been focusing him, and he is really the primary damage dealer. I mean, you've got really flashy spells coming in from the Pandaren Brewmaster. You really want to bring him down. Vengeful Spirit is just doing a fantastic job just moving everyone around, and of course Dendi on that Dazzle is just keeping everybody alive and being probably the biggest nuisance ever. I noticed he's also going to go for an Aghanims to increase the weave, I guess, which would just help him so much in terms of the team fight. So really strong play from the DTS here, just making sure that Artstyle isn't focused, and he did pick up the Aegis, so even if he is focused, he'll be a little bit tougher to crack, I guess. Tougher nut to crack, if that makes sense.
You know, you've been singing the praises of DTS, and they have played quite well, executing what at the time what was a very unorthodox style. But look at the farm on Ehome. They lost. I mean, they were down 4-0 at one point. They lost 3 towers to 0, and yet here they are with the 3 highest farmers in the game as far as creep scores go. With the high ground attempt, it will commence. Raze is coming in, and Lone Druid cannot stand against this damage. He will be forced back. Look how low he drops. The nice thing about this DTS lineup is we were talking about earlier, though. is they pretty much never have to go back to base. Between the Dazzle heals, the Mechanism, the Enchantress heals if they want to pop it, the Wisps will, the Nature's Attendants will come out now. They don't have to leave, but the one thing that could force them back is maybe the Boots of Travel. BKB is now complete on Burning. No other items, though, just a BKB. This pretty much just ensures that if he gets entangled, or if they try to focus him, they won't be able to kill him. But his damage potential is not amazing. He's really not that scary aside from it. He's a decent damage dealer with the nukes, but not amazingly so. No pipe up that I can see just yet. It's only a cloak so far. Here comes the second round. The second go. Plasma Field flies out. Fissure to follow. Lone Druid tanking. And nobody else really jumping in. Very patient play from DTS so far. I'm just waiting for the moment where that Panda jumps in. The Mantis Cell gets popped and Razor. But so far, DTS are just waiting this out. Meanwhile, bottom lane pretty far pushed in. Top lane is pushing. They can't sit here forever, man.
Well, in a sense, I believe that Ehome do have the advantage. They want a turtle. I mean, because actually this is a bit weird, but because of those boots of travel, it gives you so much more mobility. You can keep traveling around the map. You've essentially got a Furion with a 60-second cooldown on his teleport by picking up those boots of travel. Yeah. So it's a great, I don't know, it's a fantastic choice for turtling, and it certainly will help him with the farm. Like, if whatever he wants, he'll get it soon. If he wants a Mantis style, he can get it in 10 minutes, provided there's no pressure. As I say that, a huge Fissure, Shaka Shot is going on too. Where's the damage? Where's the focus? Panda jumping in. Is he gonna pop his ultimate? He's taking a lot of right clicks. Earthshaker, Echo Slam. Is there any focus? Panda's finally gonna split. He's focusing, but here comes the ultimate, but it's not gonna do anything. It's gonna Earthshaker will be going down, and the chase is gonna go on for the Shadow Feed. Is he actually gonna go down? No, chase is gonna go backwards. Tower's already fallen ages ago, and here goes Razor is the last man standing. He's gonna be taking
Razor! Oh my god, that ultimate just chewing through everyone even while he's up in the air. Static Link goes on the Artstyle. Artstyle should be falling. He does have the Aegis. That's a triple kill for him. But now he's off on an island by himself. There's no Panda ult to bail him out. This could be big trouble for Artstyle. Still trying to run away. Surviving. The shallow grave keeps him alive. And now a clap. They're gonna get away. They brought down the tower. They get a triple kill on Artstyle. They do burn the Aegis, but I think it was a pretty decent trade for them. And the next time they want to push, it's gonna be easier. Looks like there will be a hood up on the Syllabear soon. Aegis is not too far off respawning. I want to say maybe 4 minutes or so before it comes up again. So if they want to wait for the second Aegis, they could look to do so. And they get the tower, so they won't have to worry about that the next time around. But what a ridiculous fight. And, you know, you talked about not focusing the Enchantress. Artstyle was just ignored the entire fight, picks up 2 kills right away, and then cleans up in the end with the 3rd. And with the Aegis, is able to get out of there. Carry Enchantress, this is not something you see every day, man.
Yep, definitely. And I'm just looking at the levels of the supports. Level 7 on the Crystal Maiden, level 9 on the Earthshaker. By now, they're quite useless, I want to say, for Ehome, but there are an extreme amount of levels on the Razor. So, you know, you've got a lot of DTS coming in from there. You've got a lot of levels onto the Shadow Fiend. If he can get his ult off and then he can just start whacking, start going some Razors. I mean, they do have some excellent teamfight potential. And we shouldn't count out the Windrunner quite yet, especially if she somehow manages to get a lot of farm. Manages to get like a really big item like the Crystallis or something. She could definitely potentially as big as Artstyle.
You know, one other thing that should be mentioned, I don't know if you caught it, that fight was really chaotic, but the way it started for Ehome was a 4-staff from Die onto 357. So I say Blink Dagger would be nice. Who needs Blink Dagger when you have this Windrunner? When Die is handling your Windrunner, just 4-staff the Earthshaker in. That Echo Slave did a lot of work. And I actually see someone in the chat right now flaming Ehome for lack of focus fire. I really don't. Well, we'll talk about it later because in comes Jay. Static Link onto Artstyle. Artstyle will be driven back. All right, do I have a second here? I think I do because there's only 3 grouped up mid. They're not going to fight without 5, right? Right? I think they're not going to fight without 5. To address the comment in the chat about lack of focus fire, that may be part of it. But look at this DTS lineup. They have Shallow Grave. They have heals coming out from Dazzle. They have the ultimate from Dazzle, which is now buffed by an Aghanim Scepter, which gives everyone more armor, which means against all these physical right-click damage dealers, they're not hitting as hard. You've Enchantress with an Aegis. You've Enchantress who's got her Nature's Attendants. Panda ult, he can't be focused while he's in ult form. Lone Druid's very tanky. He's got a mech and a hood. So it's not just bad focus fire. It's just a very tanky lineup that, frankly, it's not easy to find kills against this DTS lineup, even if you do focus properly. Not to mention, we are seeing one of their other weaknesses, I suppose you could call it, which is unless they get a 2-hero shackle, they're locked down in a prolonged team fight. They have Fissure, but that's pretty much it. Frostbite, not reliable, not spammable lockdown. And aside from that, there's really not too much else to work with. But here we go for round 2. They waste no time with it. Power shot comes in. Vision to clear up the creep wave. Look at the creep wave just melt. The Dazzle ult gets dropped. Nevermore's armor starts to drop very rapidly. Panda blinks it, drops the ult. Focusing Earthshaker. This is the correct choice. He goes down. Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend gets dropped. Focusing on Dendi. But Dendi with the DD rune is out clicking a Shadow Fiend with a BKB. The mech gets popped. And it looks like they breached the defenses. They're now going for the racks. And screenguardguy, they have done it from the looks of things. In 28 minutes, they breached the defenses. They mow down the racks. And if this is not GG, this is a very steep hill to climb out of. Or hold.
Oh, that's certainly true, but I would never count Ehome out yet. No, I think I'll have to. It looks like they're going to be switching to the bottom lane, and I believe they're going to get at least the tower. If not, yeah, they're going to probably get the whole racks.
Oh, God.
Oh, that is quite steep. Yeah, that is, as you say, it's quite a steep hole to climb out of. I was thinking they might be able to do it with Shadow Fiend, like backdooring at the top lane, but unfortunately, that doesn't look like it's going to be happening as the teleports come in, and Ehome, I guess, are making their final stand.
There's a silver lining to this though, because now Burning can really put his boots of travels to use.
Oh yeah. They're going to pay for themselves right now.
That's where I need a symbol. I need a symbol crash after that one to highlight how funny I am. But yeah, this is going to be very hard. They have good pushing heroes, but they also have a team that needs a lot of farm, and now it's going to be a lot harder to find that farm.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just trying to think. If they were to all just run down mid right now and like one last suicide push, do you think they could do it? I don't feel they have the items. I don't feel they have the, like, you don't have a blink on the Earthshaker. You've got no initiation potential there. Razor is not tanky enough, and I've very rarely said that about Razors. They don't have a pipe. They only have a mech.
A player's forces are under
I'm gonna say that's not their best plan. Their best plan is to just split push out the lanes, stall as long as possible, and maybe this is bad. Jay might get picked off here, bottom lane.
Stun, where's the stun? Right to his face again. A few more right clicks. He has no natural escape mechanism, and he's just gonna go down straight away. There's the switch. Oh my goodness, he's actually gonna get away, stealing damage from the Panda. Nicely done. Nicely played from the Razor. Gonna get himself an illusion rune. Just gonna be running the heck out of there.
a player's forces.
Wow.
That Manta,
Really,
man, that move speed paid off there big time. He is able to escape. Oh boy.
Just check the gold out. Anything? 2,700 gold on the Shadow Fiend. I'm feeling he's saving for buyback more than anything.
Yeah, at this point you need buyback, and until he can build something like a completed Manta style or a butterfly or some sort of big. I think Manta will be the choice. Just buying a component of it is not worth giving a buyback.
I think sell all the items. Just go for Divine. Just straight off.
Naked Divine against this Enchantress. She'll just outright click you, man. She'll win a 1v1.
Okay, then buy 2 Divines.
If 1 Divine Rapier won't solve your problems, 2 definitely will.
Or Mass Dagons on everybody. Just everyone 1 click onto the Enchantress. It's a legit strategy.
Well, for the moment, it's that good old Roshan standoff. But Navi, or DTS, I keep on saying now, but DTS could do this all day, man. They could just sit near the pit, wait for that middle lane to push in, wait for the bottom lane to push in, and then go into the pit. And they can kill it quite quickly, mainly because they have the Enchantress and the Syllabaire, just very naturally powerful right-click heroes, even without a whole lot of damage items. Good job here by Dai, constantly scouting things out with the power shot, but so far they're not going in, they're not committing to this. And now they will begin. But they see Burning up on the top lane. They know they have a few moments to try and work on Roshan. And Burning does a boots to travel. He can look to join this fight if he wants to, but middle lane is also quite a train wreck. And in comes Jay. They want to contest it. He may be too late, though. Oh, this could be bad. Manta gets popped. Blink in for the panic. Catches out the Crystal Maiden. Not really the hero you want to focus, but Earthshaker thrown up in the air. Great micro by Dread. Throws the Earthshaker up. Now they turn towards Burning. Somehow the CM is still alive. BKB not yet used by Burning. He may have to soon. Echo Slam. Decent Echo Slam. Not amazing. And all the heals keeping everyone alive. Requiem of Souls from Burning. Doing good damage, but still cannot kill Dendi. These shallow graves. Oh, but Dendi, are you kidding me? Too good, man. Still alive, and now Jay falls. Artstyle with a triple, might even be more, and it looks like everyone is either back at base or dead, and I think now comes that death ball. Now comes the game-winning push by DC from NS. I guess he was enjoying this one at the end, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna say, I think this may be a bit too early, but I'm gonna say it's GG. I'm gonna have to call it here.
Alright, well,
DTS.
since you call GG, that means... you're a Dota commentaries caster, right? So it means there's absolutely no way that DTS win this one. It's easily going to be Ehome now, because every time we call GG, it does go the other way. But no, seriously, it is looking to be a little bit out of reach at this point.
Nevermore sitting with a Yasha, and you're looking at like almost completed. I have a feeling the Panda wanted to get his Aghanims. There's absolutely no need for him to travel back to base to get that item. My Warcraft is completely lagging out at this point, so I'm gonna have to count on all the commentary.
Aegis does pop, but it doesn't look like that's gonna matter because 357 taking a lot of imp damage. Nice vision there, catching two, blocking them up. The fight goes the other way, but all the while, Light of Heaven with no items really, still wailing on that Rex. Panda goes down. They want more. They want Artstyle. BKB not gonna help. Just the regular right click from Artstyle brings him down. Now, godlike Enchantress. Has he died? Yes, this game he's died once. 15-1. He wants the CM. Not gonna get it. Artstyle. Oh man, really the hero of this game. Not just his individual play, not just his kill score, but the early pressure top lane. And the shackle shot not going to connect to Light of Heaven. He's still looking to get away here. And even if he doesn't escape, look at the base. The tier 4 is being brought down. They pretty much are forfeiting this game. Ehome know they're out of it. And that's why they're chasing. They just want the kills. This is a really long dive coming from Jay. I'm just going to watch this chase all the way until he stops to farm some creeps. Okay, yeah, that's probably not the best use of his time. But seriously, Artstyle's play, the item selection was fantastic. The decision to put Lone Druid into that supportive role, get the mechanism up on him, utilize his naturally high base HP, his naturally high armor, and just use him as a frontline tank, a decent tower siege creep basically, but not a Radiance carry, not a right-click carry, just a support hero essentially, a very tanky one at that, and a strong laning hero who could deal with the tri-lane a bit better than the Windrunner could. And then use your Enchantress as the hard carry, get the tank items up, push the towers aggressively. I gotta say, Artstyle, from his game plan this game to his individual play, his item selection, just been magnificent Enchantress performance all around. Yep,
I'm just looking at Shadow Fiend right now. You know, taking this opportunity to practice his last hitting abilities, trying to make sure he can still do it. Is there going to be like a push coming in at the top? I have a feeling that is not the wisest choice. No, just going to be backing out right now.
They did get the melee rag, so at some point you'd think they'll get mega creeps, but not just yet. It looks like.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yep. So anything you think that Ehome can do to come back at this point?
The Divine Rapier is looking mighty appetizing now, man. I'm looking at their gold, and it's a little bit lacking. There was a buyback from Razor in that previous engagement when they lost the rack, so he doesn't have nearly as much money as he would like. I think he was up near 2K when it began, but now he's got 1100. It's just there's nothing they can buy, and if you can't buy anything, I just don't know what you do. I mean, you know, there's no smoke at the seat. You can't go for a smoke gang and just try and get a pick. It's when you fall behind in this particular version, I feel it is a bit harder to come back. Shackle shot will connect though. Looks like they're gonna get NS, who is very tanky. Requiem of Souls just for the support Vengeful Spirit, and I honestly think they might have needed it because he has Vanguard, he has Hood of Defiance. Even though they already have a pipe completed, they are just stacking up hoods, and now it's a sight device on Artstyle, and he wants a solo kill mid. He wants burning, or at least a BKB to be popped out. Looks like he's not going to fight it, though.
I have no idea why DTS are dragging this out. This makes no sense. Like, one final push? I have a feeling, I mean, the base is pretty much exposed. It's only got one tower, a big team fight, but I'm watching it in slow motion. Can you give us what's going on?
Yeah, Enchantress taking a lot of damage from the static link. The ult coming out, gets entangled. Where's that Manta? It is on cooldown. He used it a bit earlier, and Artstyle's going to solo this one. Or maybe not. In comes Burning. Who's going to die first? It is Artstyle. Majestically, that Razor will live. Echo Slam on the creep wave, but Lone Druid just shrugs it off. Boulder toss in, and he will take a fall. And now it looks like 2 heroes dead. No buyback available on those heroes from the looks of things. CM buyback looks to be on cooldown. Now the racks get focused. Burning trying to focus the bear, brings the bear down. And I don't think this is going to matter, but they're doing whatever they can. Burning being ignored, one of the only times you'll ever see this in a competitive game. Windrunner being ignored as well. And will just be mauled to death. That is a very angry bear. Shadow Priest takes a fall as well. The Shadow Fiend backs off to the fountain, and they finally secure Mega Creeps. 38 minutes into the game, they breached racks at about 28. They got 2 lanes of creeps then, and out come the GGs. Oh, jeez. A frustrating game for Ehome fans, for fans of Chinese Dota, but I gotta say, DTS played this one exceptionally well.
I was watching the last 5 minutes. Is you know like a photo book where you sort of like get like stop motion replays? That's what I got for the last 5 minutes for some reason. My Warcraft decided, I hate you. You're abusive master. I'm gonna. So anything?
I hit.
Well,
Yeah,
this was a cool replay.
We need to start a screenguardguy, buy a new computer fund. So if anybody wants to donate towards the cause, so screenguardguy can actually cast games. I mean, if your computer's lagging in Dota 1, then I fear for the day when you want to start casting Dota 2, because it's not gonna happen.
I'll figure something out. I should qualify that we are joking about the donate stuff. Please don't donate stuff to me.
Okay,
that would be
don't donate stuff to him. You can donate to me instead. I'm just kidding, guys. But what were your thoughts on that game? I mean, for me, I felt like it was, from what I've been reading in the comments on GoToGamers, is one of the first times that really that sort of, like what we saw in the International 1 and afterwards from Navi, like that very aggressive map control, early pushing style. This was one of the first games, at least on a big stage, where it got used, and man, it felt like it caught Ehome completely with their pants down.
Well, I was actually very surprised, and as I said, this is a little bit before my time. Oh crap, hang on a second. Okay, I know what happened. With my computer. Shit. I forgot. It wasn't charging, and it ran out of power, so that's why it was slow motion. Anyway, what was I saying? Something about... I was really expecting more from the in terms of the gameplay. It wasn't exactly what we expect to see of Chinese teams. It's not so farming orientated. It was much more action packed, but at the same time, they were pushing that 3 carry strat, which is something I haven't seen in forever. You could tell they really, really wanted to get the farm. That's why they went for the luxury items. That's why they went for the boots of travel. But it was sort of like a different type of farm, I guess. They weren't completely used to this Navi playstyle, so it's cool to see the beginnings, the seeds of this Dota, if you will. Modern Dota.
I don't think they just wanted to farm, though. To me, I agree that is part of it, and the lineup they picked needed to farm. I mean, Razor needs a lot of farm. Shadow Fiend, especially when he's so poor that he's buying 2 bracers and boots, not upgrading his boots for a long time, and rushing boots to travel at like 22 minutes. Yeah, he was poor, and he really needed to catch up. He is a hero that needs a lot of farm to be effective in the mid game. And to some extent, you could say the same for Windrunner. Not as farm dependent, but you'd like to get the 4 staff, the mech, and maybe a scythe device later on online. They did need a lot of farm, but I also just felt they couldn't take Navi in a direct clash based on the items Navi had, the Blink Dagger that was up on the Panda, the early mech on the Lone Druid. It wasn't that early, but it was early enough. And just all the creeps coming their way. With those heals from Dazzle, the creep waves, even with all the spam that Ehome had, the creep waves were actually pretty survivable. So I felt like it wasn't just that they wanted to farm, but they couldn't really take a direct fight, and the best thing you can do in that case is to split push and try and stall the game out. And frankly, they did it really well in the mid game, but giving up the Aegis, DTS tried to go high ground, then they realized they couldn't without an Aegis. They got an Aegis, and the next fight just went completely differently.
Yeah, especially I like the decision to put it on the Enchantress. Like, there's a temptation, I guess, to put it on somebody else, but the Enchantress, she's really the damage dealer. She's really the one you want to keep alive, and I feel like Dazzle was just for her, because she's not like the first person that comes to mind when you think high DPS, but she's a little bit squishy, but really that Dazzle I feel was just devoted to her. They just wanted to get as many levels as possible. They wanted Shallow Grave, they wanted the heals, and they wanted to keep her alive.
Yeah, it worked. It worked really well, and Shadow Fiend farmed decently, but as soon as the 2 towers went down top, which happened so fast, like the 4-minute mark, then the Enchantress pressure started mid, and Burning, he was actually out farming the Shadow Priest in the first couple of minutes. Denny was losing that lane, not by a lot, and Denny was getting some runes, so he wasn't totally losing it by every measurement, but he wasn't stopping Shadow Fiend from farming. But then once the push started mid, there was just nowhere for the Shadow Fiend to go to farm. He couldn't farm top because Windrunner needed that lane. He couldn't farm mid because his lane was being pushed. And he couldn't farm bottom because Razor was there. And I guess, in the end, it felt like they didn't have enough damage late game. They went for the BKB on the Shadow Fiend. They went for the Vanguard first on the Razor. And the Windrunner went for utility items. And Navi was tanky. Or Navi. DTS was tanky, man. I mean, just all the heals, the Shallow Grave. The Vengeful Spirit had a Vanguard and a Hood. That's how tanky they were by the time the game ended. And it just felt like they needed too many items, and DTS never gave them the room to breathe to get those items.
Yep, definitely so. I feel that Well, at the same time, you if you want to go for the damage items, you're also gonna have to skip out on some tank, which I
Right.
feel is a little bit
I'm not
because I
saying
mean you've got a lot of minus armor coming in from the dazzle. If you manage to get a good weave off, you got pure damage coming in. What you need is just a crap load of HP, and they picked like what's it, 3 agility heroes as their main carries. That is, well, I mean it's a tough thing. Like I have a feeling like something like a Sven would have been slightly better, or somebody who could actually like take it. They had no real natural tank. Whereas the Syllabare, he didn't get a single damage item. Towards the end, he was just literally hood and mech. That was it. And then I think towards the end he got a hyperstone. But really, for most of that game, he was just being a tank. He was just absorbing all that damage. And Panda, he with his ult, it's naturally he naturally absorbs that damage, and he can take it.
you know what
So really, just yep.
you know what I'm actually thinking about is I wonder how the game would have gone if Ehome had ran their tri lane head to head with DTS's, because they would have been on the safe lane. They're up against Enchantress, who's probably the strongest hero in a tri lane versus tri lane situation because you can get multiple creeps up early. But aside from that, the tri lane wasn't really that powerful. You have a single target stun in the Venge. You have Panda, who needs a lot of levels to be effective. But Clap is a good nuke. It's a good team fight ability. But he's a melee hero. He doesn't have to run in to start the fight. I feel like with Razor, Earthshaker, who's an amazing defensive tri-lane hero, and who was the other hero? CM. I think they could have actually done pretty well tri-lane versus tri-lane. I was a little surprised they didn't adjust, but it just happened so fast. And you know,
Yeah.
and if they'd switched
No,
the lanes up, Windrunner versus Lone Druid is not a bad matchup. So maybe if Ehome had laned it differently, things would have gone better for them. But
I feel
DTS I feel like they sort of out mind gamed them with the way they selected the lanes, and Ehome just didn't react in time.
I mean, Ehome wanted to win every lane, so they wanted to play the Earthshaker super aggressive. Like, he's not going to leave the lane until he gets a kill. He's not, okay, we'll send him mid to try to get a kill against Dendi. Nothing happened. Okay, we'll send him back. He just kept running across the map. They really, really wanted to get a kill on him. They did not want to use him defensively, which I think may have been a slight error in that sense. Because I feel that Ehome had the advantage if they were to play more defensive and they were to play more farming orientated.
I just think they needed to hold on to their towers. This is a lineup that has great anti-push. They can farm really well with their nukes. They don't, even Shadow Fiend with the C rays, the long range rays, you don't really have to approach the creep wave too much to farm. But they needed to get the levels up before they could do it. So I agree with you. I think if they played defensively, things might have gone a little bit better for them. But hey, man, this game was a blast to cast. For our first cast together with all the technical difficulties, it was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we'll get to do it more in the future. For anyone who isn't familiar with ScreenGuardGuy, you should follow him on YouTube, and I believe it's youtube.com/ScreenGuardGuy. Very simple
Yep.
for that. So, guys, if you're not already following him, he does a lot of Dota 1 commentaries, not old school ones, at least not right now, although maybe this will pique his interest in that, but a lot of Southeast Asia games. So if you like your GEST, your GMPGL, all those fantastic, exciting games with just constant action, then Screenguard Guy's your man, along with B-Ball and from Dota commentary. So subscribe to him, check him out, show him some love, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this cast. Hopefully you'll tune in for future Throwback Thursdays. Hopefully Lumi is better and you'll get Lumi next week. But if not, I of course will probably be here. But hopefully he'll be there next week. So guys, I think that just about wraps it up. But Screenguard Guy, before we go, any last shout outs you want to make? Anything you want to plug? The floor is yours, my friend.
There's a thing I'm trying to get up called Rainbow Rot. It's an item for Dota 2. If you guys just search that up and try and upvote it, I'll try and put a link down somewhere. Maybe in the VOD.
This is a Dota 2 Steam Community Workshop item that
Yeah.
Diamond, formerly of DCCom, who now works for Join Dota, boo, made. But it's a kitschy item, I guess you could say. So if you're into bright colors and happy things, and you think Pudge is too dark and emo, then check out the Rainbow Rot. But yeah, Screen Guard, thanks again for casting with me. It was a pleasure. It was a treat. And guys, please show him some love. Subscribe to him, support him. And that does it for Throwback Thursday. So we'll see you guys this upcoming Sunday for Trivia Sunday, and then it'll be full steam ahead, and Lumi should be back in full force for that. So enjoy your break, enjoy the weekend, guys, and we'll see you on Sunday. Until next time, this is LD and Screenguard Guy signing off.
Bye.
Okay. I think I'm actually gonna go because there are a couple of period flags. I recorded. I don't know if you've seen my humor series with period flags, but
Yes, the best series ever. That's
Yeah, I gotta edit the raw footage, and he's been hounding me. Like, and when he's hounding you, like, he's really obnoxious. A lot of profanity, just constantly spamming me. So I gotta go edit those.
Tyrion Flax.
He's funny about it, so I can't really get mad at him, but he's very persistent. He
Okay.
actually hasn't been badgering me at all for this one, but he did for the last one, and I know he's gonna start soon. So I don't want to get badgered. So I'm gonna go and work on that. Do you stream your pub games or anything like that, or no?
I have somebody else who streams it for me because I played Dota 2, and as you know, my animation is slightly let's just say subpar. So I have somebody else who streams them for me, but it's not really a big thing. We don't do it frequently.
All right.
Maybe like
Well,
once
I
in a
was
while.
gonna say if you wanted to stream, I could send the viewers your way. But guys, I guess that
Nah.
does wrap it up. Do you have a Twitter or Facebook? You should really have something besides your YouTube.
Should I?
Yeah,
Okay, I might make one. I might make one.
make
I
one.
have like 180 subscribers, so maybe that amounts to like 20 likes on Facebook. So I'm just like, is that worth the effort?
When I started 6 months ago, I think I had like 2 Facebook subscribers. One of them was me, the other was my brother, and that lasted. And then my mom, I begged my mom, and she followed me, and that was it for like the first month and a half. So yeah, once you get it, it'll start to grow. You just gotta plug it, man. But
Okay.
all right, guys, I will let you know. I'll edit the video if he makes a Facebook or Twitter. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all on Sunday for trivia. Good night.